Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. My name is Sylvia Staples, and I have the pleasure of managing this resource assistance program for the USDA Forest Service. This is a pretty amazing program. It's a program that, is just one of its kind in the agency. And again, I'm fortunate enough to be the program manager for it. So, of course, with this being such an amazing program, such a large program that's still expanded. I couldn't do it alone. So I have an amazing team that supports me throughout this program. So I want to take time to let them introduce themselves as well. So if you guys can go ahead and come on screen to get ready to introduce yourselves. So just really quick about me, been with the agency for about 10 years, started in the field as a forester, then became a recruiter for the Southern region, and now I'm the national program manager for RAP. So been in the field, now I'm in an administrative role, but I've done a little bit of everything from working in the field as a forester and wildlife and fire and all of those resource areas. And again, doing recruitment with USA Jobs, federal resumes, going to different universities, career fairs, military bases, and now managing this resource assistant program, which is really similar to the program that I came into the agency in. So it's like life has truly come full circle for me. And I am physically located in Atlanta, Georgia. And so with that, I will pass it over to Vanessa.
Thanks, Sylvia. Hi, all. My name is Lady Vanessa Reyes. First name is Lady. Middle name is Vanessa. You can choose either one to address myself. Pronouns are she and her, and I am the program specialist for the Resource Assistance Program. I did only come into the agency about 2.5 years ago, but I came in as an RA. So, and I transitioned from my RA-ship into a permanent position. So this program is very near and dear to my heart, and I truly enjoy welcoming each cohort. You guys are cohort 7. Summer 2023 is cohort 7. So we've had, 6 cohorts before you. We had 5 cohorts join in virtually because of the pandemic, and then we had our last cohort in an in-person orientation, and you will also be in an in-person orientation. So we're really excited to onboard you, and it's going to be a fun, a little bit hectic time, but we're all going to have a good time. So yes, I'll give it back to Sylvia. I think I've rambled a bit too much.
No problem, thanks. With that, I will pass it over to Michaela Hall.
All right, thanks, Sylvia. Hi, everyone. My name's Michaela Hall. I'm really excited to be here on this onboarding call and get to meet some of you. You may have seen emails from me already, and I look forward to working with you across this onboarding process. I started in the agency in an internship program, was really excited to convert. I have worked in conservation education, fire and aviation management, state, private, and tribal forestry, and as a recruiter with Sylvia earlier in our careers. And so this is a great program that I've gotten to work with for quite a few years now, and look forward to continuing it and seeing it grow. So yeah, enjoy this onboarding call, and I look forward to working with you on this process.
Thanks, Michaela. Last but not least, Michaela Pryor.
Hey guys, y'all can call me Mimi. I'm the RA for the RAP staff. I'm actually from the last cohort 6, and it's been awesome so far, and I'm super excited to meet all of y'all and see y'all in Denver. So yeah, I'm happy to be here, happy to see all your faces.
Awesome. Thanks so much to my staff for introducing themselves and being here on this call. And there's going to be, I don't know if Kelsey was able to join us yet. Okay, so you guys will get a chance to meet Kelsey as well. So welcome to the Forest Service again. I'm going to give you guys a quick overview of the Resource Assistance Program. The goal for today is for you guys to kind of understand the RAP program a little bit better. Of course, you'll learn as you go in that orientation. You'll definitely be well equipped with all of the information that you'll need. But sometimes we get a lot of questions through this onboarding process. So we thought it'd be great to have this onboarding call where we kind of give you an overview of what the RAP program is and all of the steps through onboarding. It's a lot. Welcome to the government. It's a lot, right? So throughout this process, there's going to be different documents that you have to fill out. We're going to have a background check. All of these things are going to be happening as we prepare to start you in the month of June. So today, what we're going to do is I'm going to start off by doing this wrap overview, and then we're going to pass it to Fred, who will be joining us to talk about the background investigation. You guys will be able to answer, ask him any questions that you might have so that you better understand what's going to happen with the background investigation. And then we're going to pass it over to Vanessa, and she's going to go over the onboarding checklist. So you guys received an email that had some documents in it already. So we're going to kind of dive into that email and talk a little bit about those documents that you've already received. And I know you're probably already looking at it like, what is this? But we've tried to think it through as much as possible. But the purpose of this call is to walk you through those documents to make sure that you fully understand each step and know that we are here to support you every step of the way. And this is just the beginning. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to jump right into this wrap overview. So again, welcome to the Resource Assistance Program within the USDA Forest Service. You'll learn more about the agency, but the Forest Service is the largest agency under the USDA umbrella with about 30,000 plus employees. And we are hoping that you too will one day become an employee with us in the agency. The Resource Assistance Program falls under our National Partnership Office, which also houses our workforce development partnership programs. And again, you'll learn more about that. But that pretty much means all of the programs that allows us to tap into youth or those emerging professionals, whether they're coming out of college or some type of development program through partners. These are the programs that we manage to bring new faces into the agency. And this picture here is a picture of our cohort that just started, cohort 6 that started in the month of February this year. So you guys will all get one of these really nice button-down blue shirts as well, and we'll get some pictures at your orientation. But I wanted to share this beautiful picture of our first in-person orientation captured back in February. So the Resource Assistance Program, just some background information, was established in the Forest Service back in 2016. And by definition, it is a rigorous and immersive paid experience for individuals that are interested in conservation, natural and cultural resources, environmental management, research and development, and other career opportunities. With this program, we really do try to prioritize the engagement of current students, but put more of an emphasis on those that are recently graduated, just because of the length of the service. It's not one of those kind of 2-monthers or summer internship programs. So we really try to focus on those that have recently graduated. And those that have recently graduated, really looking at those from minority serving institutions and underrepresented populations. So really looking at our engagement of women and those that come from tribal schools, Hispanic serving institutions, HBCUs, which is going to be historically Black colleges and universities, and all of those other minority serving institutions. And to date, we have engaged over 1,200 resource assistants through this program. All right. So the objectives of this program is exactly what you see on the screen. We want to attract and retain a diverse and inclusive workforce. So we want to use this program to tap into top talent all across the U.S. and bring them into the agency while also diversifying our workforce so that we can be a reflection of the populations that we serve. Through this program, you will receive mentorship. You'll receive on-the-job training. You will be matched with what we call a mentor, which is essentially your supervisor, but we call them mentor as it relates to this program. And that mentor is really going to tap into what it is that you have a goal of as a professional, what it is that you would like to be exposed to, trained in through your position, as well as other interests that you might have. And they will also allow you the chance to be able to network with other staff members so that you can continue to develop, again, professionally as well as personally. This program allows us to have 8 or 12-month RA shifts. So some of you may be in a position that's 8 months, and then some of you may be in a position that's 12 months. Those are the terms that we offer, 8 months or 12 months. Some of you are in a virtual position, and then others of you are going to be relocating, maybe somewhere that you've never been before. So relocating and going to be in an in-person position. And there's going to be a wide range of positions. So as you guys get to know each other, you're going to see that everyone is pretty much doing a little bit of everything. So I encourage you to get to know each other, really use this peer-to-peer to support, and just lean on each other as this cohort to be able to get through this process and grow and develop together. Covering the benefits really quickly, and again, we'll go over this more at orientation, but again, we always get a lot of questions about benefits. So I want to cover this really quickly. Yes, each one of you will receive a stipend. The stipend ranges between $500 to $750. And so if you are not aware what your stipend is, all you have to do is just ask your partner program manager what your stipend is. It should also be on your offer letter. All of these benefits should be on your offer letter, but if you have any additional questions specific to your position, you're going to want to talk to your partner program manager, and I'll talk about partners here in just a second. But again, the stipends are $500, $650, and $750 a week is what we offer in this program. You all will receive a housing allowance of $1,000 a month, and this is for everyone, regardless of if you are in person or virtual. Everyone will receive a travel training allowance of $2,750, in which you are able to use that for anything that's professional development, training, travel, relocation, all of those things. If you are in person, you will also receive $50 a month as a commuter allowance. In addition to that, you will also receive PTO, paid time off. So you will have all federally recognized holidays off, any early releases that we receive, and the PTO just depends on the length of your service. So if you are 8-month RA, you receive 7 days of PTO. If you are a 12-month RA, you receive 10 days of PTO. We do also have insurance available. So during your onboarding process on the partner side, make sure that you let them know if you would like to opt into insurance or opt out. Okay. And I also would like to say that, again, there's different levels of engagement. So no one will have the exact same experience, but we do try to provide a minimum of a GS5 level of equivalent of experience through this program. And of course, the last but not least, the biggest benefit of it all is what you receive once you complete this program. So in completion of 960 hours, which is roughly about 6.5 months, you receive a certificate that's going to give you 2 special hiring authorities. And the main hiring authority with that is going to be the direct hire authority, which we'll use to directly appoint you into the agency at the end of your RA-ship. So again, we'll talk more about these benefits and things at orientation, but just kind of wanted to give you a quick overview of these benefits now so that you understand it early. These are our partners. So when I say partners, we are able to manage and engage you guys through what we call participating agreements. And so we have a participating agreement with each one of these partners. So whether you are on a national agreement or a regional agreement, one of these partners is the program that you apply to for this program, and you have been working with them through their onboarding, whether it's Environment for the Americas, working with Catherine, Hispanic Access Foundation, and their amazing style, Green Youth, Manners, or Mobilize Green. So when I talk about partner, it's specific to your partner. Again, everyone will have a different partner, but we have 5 national partners and 5 regional partners. And all of your benefits and everything will be managed through them. So while I'm also speaking of this, there's one partner that you see, Green Youth Foundation. They're going to be our partner in which we collaborate with for orientation, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Roles and responsibilities, just want to make sure you guys understand this. So throughout this onboarding process, you'll kind of understand this a little bit more, but it kind of takes a little bit of everyone to manage this program. So you have the Washington office, myself. We'll be helping you guys with this whole Forest Service federal onboarding process, in which we'll talk about a little bit later with all of your documents. You're going to have a region station area liaison that you will meet at orientation that's going to help you throughout your journey. Your host unit or mentor, that's who you did your interview with, that's who selected you for this position, and you'll be talking with them throughout this onboarding process as well, preparing for your start date. The partner is who I just went over in the last slide. That's who will be partnering with us to engage you throughout this RA-ship. And then last but not least, you as a resource assistant. So your job, your role and responsibility is to show up as an RA, develop your expertise, pursue career development, and perform essential work within the Forest Service. So some upcoming RA dates that I want you to be mindful of, and you also have this in your welcome email that we sent out for the onboarding calls, we provide these onboarding calls again as another level of support for you as you go throughout this onboarding, because again, there's going to be a lot of documents, there's going to be background checks, investigations, fingerprints, a little bit everything. We want to make sure that you are always have access to us, in addition to being able to email us at any given time and get a response. We want to make sure we have these onboarding calls. So today, this call is being recorded, and it was kind of a mandatory call, if you will, because we wanted to provide all of this information up front, where we're going to kind of more of a presentation step by step. All of the calls after that, except the last one, will be calls that are optional. They are just open calls, so office hours, if you will. So these other dates are optional. So only the dates that have the asterisk, and also your email, you'll see them outlined as a mandatory date. But these are the dates that we ask that you join in on the call to get your questions answered. So you can literally join the call. The call may be for an hour. You can join the first 15 minutes, get your question answered, and hop right back off. Or, join at the last 15 minutes of the call. But again, this onboarding open call is for you to get your questions answered by myself and the staff. And then our last call that's going to be the mandatory call is going to be Thursday, June the 1st. And this is just going to be where we're going to go over your computer, because at that point you should have your government furnished computer. We're going to go over your computer, make sure that you have access to everything, and make sure you're fully prepared for the start of your position, as well as orientation. So going right into orientation, again, to give you guys a quick heads up about orientation. Orientation will be June the 12th through the 16th. I have the 11th here because that will be your travel day. We will be in Denver, Colorado is where we'll be traveling into, but the orientation will be held at Copper Mountain Resort. We will drop a link into the chat box so you guys can check out Copper Mountain. It's in a beautiful and amazing place. We're excited to go there, and it sits right on the White River National Forest. So we're excited to be on National Forest lands and to welcome you into the agency there, orientation. The logistics, all of the logistics will be managed through, again, the Green and Youth Foundation. So you will be receiving an email from Green and Youth asking you to complete a survey. That survey is going to provide them all of the information that they need to book your flights and make sure that you are prepared for your logistics of getting to orientation and to your host site. So be mindful of that. Be on the lookout for an email from Green Youth Foundation. And again, make sure that you're responsive and cooperating with them to get everyone flights booked and all of that taken care of. There will be a lot of different things that we're going to be trying to, introduce you guys to, expose you to at orientation, whether it's trainings and different activities. So again, surveys are coming. Please be responsive, because we want to make sure that this orientation is a great experience for you. And as it relates to training, one of the trainings that you will receive is a CPR first aid. If you have already received CPR first aid and you already have that certificate and it is up to date and it's going to be up to date for the rest of the year, then please provide us that early on and you will not have to take it. But if you don't have that, then you will receive a CPR first aid training there at orientation. Lastly, but certainly not leastly, your dietary restrictions. If you have any dietary restrictions, please do share that with us. We will be, that's also a question in the survey. Green Youth will also ask you that question. It's very important that you provide that to us, because as we're planning out orientation, we have to select meal options for the entire cohort. And we want to make sure that we are mindful of everyone's dietary restrictions. So if you are gluten-free, if you are vegan, or if you are, vegetarian, whatever your dietary restrictions are, please do share them with us so that we can make sure that you are well fed at orientation. And with that, I will end this presentation and we will move right along. All right, so I'm just going to do a check to make sure, get the light back on. Fred, Vanessa, do we have Fred?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. Great. So if you have any questions about anything that I presented, again, we'll save those for the end, or you can also drop it into the chat and we'll answer any questions you guys may have in the chat box. But at this time, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Fred. I can't see him on my screen just yet, but I'm sure he's here.
I'm here.
Okay, awesome.
Sorry.
Thank you so much for joining us, Fred. We really appreciate you being flexible. We always appreciate you being available to assist us throughout this RAP orientation. And so without further ado, I will pass it over to you and you can take it away.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys. Well, hello, what's good? folks. My name is Fred Ader. I work at the Personal Security Office here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And a lot of the questions, when you're onboarding is basically the link pass matter. And in order for you guys to obtain the link pass, one of the first thing is your person model sponsor have to initiate through your person model profile. And with regards to that, hopefully that your person model sponsor know the proper procedure or proper steps in order to fulfill those obligations. But one of the first things, once we receive the information through your person model profile, is the information, two things, the type of link pass, as well as the type of investigation that is required for your position. Now, first thing, we'll be sending you information in regards to your equip processing. And let me just share you this real quickly. You'll be getting two emails in starting your process. Now, with this equip processing, we will be sending you information how to log into your equip. But just a note that by October of this year, equip will be no longer in service. We are in the transition of processing the new platform, which is the IMBIS, which is the National Background Investigation System, which entails to everyone who is federally employed, no matter what department. Everyone will be using IMBIS. But right now we are trying to do as much equip processing to understand the flow of the process. So when we start really implementing the IMBIS, it's just a different layout. Now, once you get into this, the information in starting or certain guidelines and resourcing and how to fill out these forms, all the instructions are in there and they're all linkable. Okay. Now, there's this other form that needs to, oh, excuse me, hold up. Let me click on this. Give me 1 second right here. This is the Declaration of Federal Employment, which is the 306, and then you'll be seeing this with your package, with your equip package. This form is very important. Why? Because the federal investigators will take this information, okay, and reference it to your equip. Truthful, you have to be very truthful in answering these questions. So make sure that you read each of these questions thoroughly, because sometimes it will say 7 years back or 5 years back. And if there's any indication that you mark yes, we have to note it here in this section, what's in 16. Now, we have to make sure that whatever name that it's given to you currently, we want to have it up here. And if there was any other names that was being used, we have to annotate it here. Birthplace is very important. I know that we've been having folks that is coming from a different country. We gotta input all of those information. If you are a citizen or not, we have to input all of these information, and whatever documents or certificates, numbers or document numbers have to be annotated in here as well too. If you are a male, we have to make sure that you do have a selected service number or registration. And this is, since this has a lot of PII information, if you're sending this through email, we just have to make sure that's encrypted. But in most cases, we see a lot of these forms are attached into their equip. We have to, once you complete this information here, we we have to make sure that it's sign and date. The date is important because this is the date that we use when we register your eQuip. Okay. If you're a prior service or prior federal employee, this must be filled out here, you know, what's on the bottom portion. But again, this 306 as well as your eQuip, those are the information that is required for you in order to get your background investigation started. One other thing here, now with fingerprinting, let me pull up something real quick here. Give me one moment, 1 second. That's not it. I'm sorry, guys.
While you're doing that, Fred, just a question on the OF 306. I know some RAs have asked, where do they sign? Is it on the applicant signature or the appointee signature? Does it matter?
Say it again.
On the OF 306 form,
Yes.
there is a line where they where they're supposed to sign.
On the
Is it
applicant.
applicant? There you go. Thank you.
Okay. So you'll be seeing this email here, okay, which, and again, let's disregard this IMBIS here because this is the new format. Okay, but you see eQuip, your 306 here, as well as your fingerprints. Okay, so the fingerprints, there's two ways in getting it. Through US Access when you conduct your enrollment for your link pass, or field print. Now, the advantage with getting your fingerprints through an enrollment process with US Access, you knock two birds at one stone. You do your fingerprints for your background investigation and the fingerprints for your link pass. And my best advice is to go with this process here. With the field print, if you already been a previous federal employee and you already had a current fingerprints that is less than 120 days old, we can use that. But the information, the result from your fingerprints, we can research that and find it in a secure website. Now, if your fingerprints is older than 120 days old and you already have a link pass, field prints would be much more preferable. Okay, because we can just find your results from that fingerprint and then use that as part of your investigation. Now, the process with your investigation, it can take up to 3 months or even possibly 4, depending on what the investigators found. But if everything is basically nice and clean, it could be fairly quick, like 2 months. If you got a higher investigation, say like a T2 or above, it can take up to 2 years. So depending on what is it the RAP program? Okay.
Yes, so all our participants are tier 1.
Woo, hallelujah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So it's much quicker. Now, when you do your fingerprints, it could come back in 2 days. So in order for folks that's needing their link pass expeditely, we can use your fingerprint result, but we just have to make sure that your investigation is scheduled. Now, if you're currently doing all your editing in your eQuip or your MBES, it is considered not scheduled. I can have your fingerprint result already result back before we submit your investigation. But once your investigation is scheduled and your SAC is already, we already got the results from your SAC, we can get your link pass right away. So that's the benefit in getting your fingerprints and getting your investigation schedule. When I say schedule, is that's when we release all your investigation package to the Defense Counterintelligence Defense Agency. So again, getting your background investigation package quickly, it could get you your link pass much faster, and you can go do your job. For some folks, they tend to wait for a long time, and that's why we have a lot of calls from supervisors saying, why my applicant don't have a link pass? And then I just have to let them know they haven't touched their equip package. So again, that's the thing that we really want our new applicants to be diligent on if they need their link pass right away. Okay. Have any questions or any issues in getting the applicant's link pass, just get in contact with me. I can help you guys out with this process. But any questions with the link pass, as well as the equip background investigation, the 306 form, and fingerprints? If not, let me just take out the share here. Stop the share here. No questions? Well, I hope this was informational, but I can be easily reached. My name is Fred Ader, A-D-E-R. I tend to work with the contractors, affiliates, volunteers, intern folks in this sector of your career. And I know that the investigation tends to take long, as well as the link pass, but there's a way to go through the whole process in getting your link pass.
Well, thank you so much, Fred, for joining us today and providing all of that information for the RAs to have a better understanding of this part of the process of onboarding. So I just want to also let you guys know that, of course, some of the stuff we'll go through on our onboarding checklist that you'll see, and some of those things that he highlighted as far as person model and PIV and link pass, we'll cover that more. Some of the screens that he shared, you guys won't have to worry about that. Some of that stuff is kind of like behind the scenes where the staff will be kind of inputting you into some of these systems. However, when we are working with you individually to answer a question, we may share a screen to show you where we are in the process. So some of the same screens that he shows you, we'll be able to show it to you again to see your status, so that you guys will, be more familiar with it now, since he just kind of gave you guys an inside look of what onboarding looks like on the other side. So again, thank you so much, Fred. We did drop his information to the chat box. So I would say to hold off from your questions right now that you might have until you get to that part of the process, because again, we do provide some great resources to walk you through it. So if you do have questions when it comes to that point in time of your onboarding, then you can reach him at the email that we provided into the chat box. But thank you again so much, Fred. We really appreciate you for joining us today.
All right. Well, guys, welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
Bye. Bye.
All right, so at this time, for the remainder of the call, we're going to go through the onboarding documents that was shared with you. Vanessa is going to talk about this onboarding process, next steps, and we'll open it up for questions. We will continue to answer the questions into the chat box, but for other things, she'll probably cover it in her onboarding chat that she gives now. But again, just to kind of go over the documents that was in the email, you guys should have received a document that we call WRAP, Cracking the Code document. The document that she is sharing right now on screen is your WRAP onboarding checklist for Cohort 7. You also have received a document that talks about that ISA training that you will have to complete in order for us to even start your official onboarding. And then last but not least is a blank copy of the 301A that we'll need you guys to complete and send back to us so that we can make sure that you are covered in case of an incident. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Vanessa, and she's going to walk you guys through onboarding.
Thanks, Sylvia. Yes. Alrighty, guys. So you have all received this email that Sylvia just referred to, and one of the documents is this spreadsheet. It lists, if you haven't opened it yet, it lists everything that you will be going through for the next 2 months. Yeah, so I believe you already have done steps 1 and 2, great. And a few of you have already done this Microsoft Forms onboarding info questionnaire. So I'll just go through this very quickly. I hope that you know your RA position ID number. That's the group of letters and numbers that your partner organization gave to you when you were selected for this position. And that's either it's just 2 letters of the partner organization and some numbers, as it could be MA75742. So that's one, and there's a few others. But if you don't have the number, please just write cohort 7. And sorry, I just wanted to mention, I think Michaela already answered the question for Nicholas about the partner organization being that organization which is onboarding you on their end. They are our partners, and you are hired by them. And so that's your partner organization. Alrighty, so your position title. Yes, there was a question about legal names. So for us to onboard you into our systems, it has to be your legal name. It is a federal government, so it has to be legal, but we do take into consideration your preference. So we will address you by the name that you would prefer. Yes, if you don't have a middle name, please write none. So the display name on our Outlook as well as Teams is going to be your legal name, because it goes through HR. Like all our systems go through HR, so it has to be your legal. But you know, on our cohort booklet, which we do provide for each cohort, we can enter your preferred name. Yes, so for the email address, make sure it's not a .edu, just in case that email address expires. We do prefer one that will probably last for your whole lifetime. And then, yes, we don't use your cell phone number often, but in case we can't reach you for some information, we do tend to call or text. We do text. We ask for your social security number twice, just in case there's an error the first time. That does happen. I know this is an easy form to fill out, but in haste, it does happen sometimes that there are some mistakes. So yes, please enter your SSN twice and correctly, as well as your date of birth. And yes, for our person model database, we need your place of birth. So city, state, and country, please. For the intent of our program, we do require information about gender. This is just for our communication, just to make sure that we are addressing you in the term that you would prefer. And yes, country of citizenship, and then your permanent address. For your computer address, we know that some of you will be working on site, so that might require a move, and that might happen in the next couple of weeks, or might happen in like just before orientation, or just after orientation. So I know in May 22nd, you might not know where your address is. So please just communicate with us through that email address, sm.fs.rap@usda.gov, about where you'll be for that week. And if you don't know, just enter that here and we'll follow up with you. Yes, when will you be moving? If you know that. If you don't, that's all right as well. Just let us know. If you have a personal computer, just in case the government computer doesn't reach you in time for orientation. And then this information, if you know it, great. If you don't, that's okay. We have an option for unsure, but you can also ask your mentor. / your supervisor, what exactly is your region or station, so that this can paint a more accurate picture of your position. And this will allow us to match your entry, on your forms with our spreadsheet, so that we know when we receive your information, we can match it to your mentor's information. It just makes things quite easier for us. And then, yes, information on whether you are on site or virtual, and where you'll actually be living for your assignment. Yes, if you don't know your partner organization, just check your emails, talk to the folks who hired you. And then, yes, this is, we're finding out that this is an important question, because we do have a few participants who have previously been engaged with USDA or Forest Service. So that kind of has a little bit of a different roadmap, as opposed to a participant who is totally new to the agency. So we would like to know that, so that we know what to do on our end. Oh, I think I have to go next. So okay. Yeah, if you have a computer already, that makes life easier for us. We don't have to order you a computer. Just let us know. Yes, and Sylvia's already touched on the dietary restrictions. Totally important for orientation, so that you can eat properly. And yes, please let us know about your sizes for your shirts. And then, yeah, the last step on this form is just information for the information security awareness training, which you will do. It is also on the checklist in step 4, and that is, I believe, here. And then you can just register, do the training, and at the end of the training, you can go to step 5, send a screenshot. I think a lot of you have already done that. Thank you. And send it. Yeah, take a screenshot and send it to us. And that is actually really important, because we can't start the person model process until we receive both your information on this form, which is basically the PII. So your SSN and your date of birth. That is the most important crucial part, as well as the ISA. We can't enter you until we receive this. So please know that this step and this step, as well as this step, are the most important part, just to get you started with the person model step. And then you also have in that email this. Yes. So yeah, Sylvia also already mentioned this, but the OF301 is it says volunteer service agreement, but all RAs have to fill out this form so that they're covered in case of any incident or accident that occurs while you're working. So yes, just please fill out the parts with the yellow highlighter, and then make sure to mark all of these boxes, and please sign here at number 40 and date it. If this document gives you issues, maybe you might have to print it out, sign it, and then scan it and email it back to us. But I think if you have the programs, this is a really easy fill out. And then back to this, I'll mention the cohort booklet. Okay. Yes, so we have a few. Gosh, I think that's why I meant to. Sorry about that. I meant to share with you this other document. One moment. Okay, so for each cohort, we have a little booklet which showcases all the participants of this particular cohort, and it's a document of love that we give to the cohort. So it has your photos, your your forest, your education, and a little blurb about yourself. So yes, this is from the last cohort, cohort 6, winter 2023. There were almost 90 of them. So we worked really hard for the next month and a half to get this all organized and printed. So we really appreciate your participation, and that information is in the checklist as well in this step 6. And yeah, so I just want to mention it's some of the same information from the other form, but we do collect your education information. If there's any confusion about it, please ask us in the sm.fs.rap email address. I know we did try to streamline it, but it can still be confusing. But yeah, so we would like some information on what your professional pursuits are, your interests and hobbies, and then the other part I can't show in there that side, but we are requesting 2. We say professional photos, but it does not have to be a professional photo. It can be a headshot from waist up, and it can be like, it can even be a selfie, so long as it's nice, presentable, dignified. It could be like against a wall or anything, but we do ask that you give us 2 options for the cohort booklet. And we also ask, just for our organization's sake, because there are over 100 of you, if you can name that file with your actual name, so that when it's all in the platform for SurveyMonkey, it's all like compiled into one, and it's a little bit harder for us to match the picture with the name. So yeah, if you can name the file with your name, that would be great. And then we also ask for information pertaining to your demographics. And this remains confidential. It's just for the intent of the program, we need this information so that we can see what the trends are with our recruitment, working with our partners, and what that means for the program overall, and how we're hiring into the agency. So yes, this information will not be tied to your name once we work with our data analyst. So yeah, we just really appreciate if you could share this information with us. And I think that was it on our end, but yes, the other part is the background investigation, as Fred talked about already, but I'll mention that your participation with the ISA, all of the steps before this yellow part, that prompts the background investigation, because we need to do the person model entry before the background investigation folks or personnel security can do things on their end. So when we enter you into personnel, that prompts the equip questionnaire to be sent to you, and then you will have to go do the enrollment process. And I'll just mention that you can, once you are already in the person model platform, you'll get an email to make an appointment for enrollment the credentialing center. Right now, I think it's much better than it had been in the pandemic, when some urban centers would have a credentialing center open, but other parts of the country where it's not as urban, folks might have to travel maybe 2 hours. But I think now RAs are able to get appointments within the next 2 or 3 weeks. But it can take a month, but we will just see how it is around your area. Hopefully, you'll have a credentialing center that will take appointments for enrollment within the next 2 or 3 weeks. But if that's not the case, you can wait. It's not absolutely necessary to do before orientation, but I think you'll be able to make an appointment before orientation. And once you have your enrollment done, that will also send the fingerprints to the background investigation people. But yeah, at enrollment, you also get your photo taken. So you do need 2 forms of ID just to do that enrollment. So at enrollment, you need 2 forms of ID. They'll take your picture, you'll do your fingerprints, and then that process will allow you to get a link pass. And speaking of link passes, they're not absolutely necessary for your RA-ship, but in the beginning, you'll be able to do a 30-day exemption for your computers, and that's in this part. Yes, here. So step 13, you'd have to call customer help desk 866-945-1354 to have that 30-day exemption because you don't have your link pass yet. And you know, I've had a few RAs who did not have a link pass for the whole time of their term, so it is possible, but a link pass makes it easier for you to log on so that you don't have to enter your password every time. It's just a what do you call it? A pin code, sorry. Yes, so I think that's it. Everything here is for after orientation, and all of these helpful things that will be good for you to do to make your work life a bit easier. I think that's it. Oh, I just want to mention also for your link pass, if you don't know where you'll be after orientation for when your link pass would be ready, we do ask for that information at the end of orientation so that we know where your location is so that we can send the link pass to a credentialing center near you. So that'll be for after orientation. And yeah, I think that's it. Do we have any questions in the chat box or any question you can ask me now? Oh yes, there are some questions. Okay.
Yes, we have some questions in the chat box, but before we jump to those questions, I just wanted to also say, as Vanessa was talking about, you know, locations and those that may be relocating, in addition to, you know, the link pass center that you'll be using and having things, you know, shipped. If you're going to be relocating and, you know, you're not sure where you'll actually be staying, we can go ahead and ship your laptop to your host unit as well. So again, if you are in person relocating, you can just let your mentor know, hey, I want to have it shipped to the office. You'll let us know so that when we order your computer, we can just have it sent. So that means you won't have it at orientation, but that's totally fine. But it'll already be at the unit waiting for your arrival. So just wanted to make that point as well for you to think about.
Perfect.
All right. And the last thing I'll say is I know that we are at time. However, if you need to jump off, that's totally fine. We'll continue the recording. And again, we will share this out with all of the RAs so you can go back and pick up where you left off to hear the rest of this. But we're done with kind of our presentation portion. So now we're just going to answer some questions, and there'll be more. Trust me, guys, there'll be a lot more information to come, but we wanted to at least get ahead of a lot of the stuff and just provide you, you know, with this opportunity to hear everything from us first as you go through these processes and steps. But there's going to be more emails to come with additional information about orientation and about everything. So just wanted to make that point as well. So again, if you do have to hop off, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to welcome you to the RAP, to the Forest Service. We can't wait to see you in person in Colorado, especially if you've never been there. It's going to be an amazing trip. And yeah, share your pictures, share your sizes, because we want to order you guys a nice little wrap shirt like what Vanessa has on. And what I have on, some are have a button and some have a V-neck, as well as those button down shirts that were in the wrap photo in my presentation. So we have some nice gear for you guys that we'll be passing out at orientation, some nice goodies. So again, share your sizes, share all the information so that everyone can come to orientation and leave happy, equipped, ready, and excited. So again, thank you so much, and we look forward to continue to engage with you. And at this time, we will answer all of your questions. So Vanessa, if you want to go ahead and jump on those questions.
Yeah, so Blair asks, so we have gone through steps 1 to 7 already. Is that the farthest we can go until we get information back about the background check? Yes. Right now, we are in the process of inputting you into person model. Once that's done, that prompts the background investigation team to send you an email, as well as the Fed ID card email to be sent to you to make an enrollment appointment at a credentialing center. So you're sitting tight for information from us, and hopefully that will be very, very soon. And then should we make an great. Should we make an enrollment appointment now, or do we need to wait for another email with more information? Yes, please do wait for that email, just to make sure that the credentialing center is ready for you with your information before you get there. It'd be a waste of your time if you made an appointment and go there and they have no information on you. So just wait for that email. Thank you. Any other questions?
And I just want to reemphasize, I see Nicholas had a question about a partner organization. If you don't know, the partner is who you already were working with before we contacted you. So again, Green Youth Foundation, Mobilize Green, Environment for the Americas, Hispanic Access Foundation, Manners, all of those are our national partners. So that's going to be who we talk about when we say partners. So, so just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that part.
Thanks, Sylvia. Alrighty, are you able to share this recording with us so we can revisit any information? Yes. For every other invite to a call, we'll share out this recording, but for every other invite, we'll also put in this link for the recording, because it has all of the information. So I think it's great.
And also be reminded that the other calls until the last one are optional. So if you get stuck in a process and you don't want to wait till we respond to an email, just hop on the call, ask your question, you can hop off. It's really, like I said, just open office hours, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Soon after orientation, do we need to be at our host unit? So everyone will start in their position the following week. I'm pretty sure we have a holiday that following Monday, which you guys will get your first day off already, day 1, which will be Juneteenth. So you will officially be starting on that Tuesday. Unless you work out something different with your host unit. So they may ask you to start earlier, they may ask you to start a little later. Everyone has a kind of a unique situation. People are transitioning from school or just different things. So just work with your mentor, your host unit, and you guys can kind of negotiate that. But, really the ask is for you to be ready to start in your official position the following week after orientation. Orientation expenses, if you guys missed it in chat, orientation expenses are paid by us. We take care of all of those costs. So your flight or your gas reimbursement, whatever your logistics are of getting there, we take care of your room and board while you're there on the resort, as well as all of your food will be provided in breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So all of that will be covered by the program. If you have bags, we'll have all this information in the follow-up email, but just kind of want to point out to those as if you have bags, we'll give you that reimbursement on your bags. The only cost that you would probably incur is getting to the airport. So we don't really provide that assistance, but hopefully you guys can manage to get to the airport, but everything else we're taking care of for you.
If I forgot to put my name in the file picture, should I redo this already? No, it's okay. I think it's fine. We'll be able to figure it out. But thank you. For anyone else who hasn't done the survey, please name your file name. But if you didn't, it's okay. Thank you. How soon after orientation do we need to be at our host station? Oh, I think you just answered.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So the next one's from Brandy. Will the other calls provide additional information? So the other calls, again, are open calls, except the last one. The last call, we will talk about your computers, how to set it up. We'll invite someone there to kind of give you guys an overview of your computers. And we'll talk more about orientation, and it'll kind of be your last prep talk, as you prepare to travel to Colorado for orientation. So these are the two calls that have they're more informational calls, and the other calls are just office hour calls.
I also wanted to address Brandy's other question. Will there be a step-by-step outline of how to register with US Access to get fingerprinted? So while we're here, I already have this website open. So you will receive an email. It'll probably take you to this website or to this website. So yeah, you just enter Department of Agriculture, which is usually the first when you type in department. And then you have three options: to enroll, to pick up your card, or to update your card. So it would be to enroll, and then you would enter here your city. I'll say Washington. And then it'll show you all the different credentialing centers that are open for enrollment. Lucky me, I have one that's 0.2 miles away. Or if that's not the case, yeah, I have a few other options. However, if I were to do like, I don't know, Columbus, Ohio, I know that it's a bit more limited. This one here is a dedicated, you can see the yellow dot, it's restricted to an agency, and that is not our agency. And this is the blue dot is for a shared location. So that's more where we can do enrollment, but yeah, that's 90 miles. And yeah, it does take a bit of time, but if we work with your partner organization, it might be possible to have a reimbursement for that travel, but that would come from your travel and training funds, but which is $27.50. So it's plenty, but you'll probably have other opportunities to use your travel funds for the rest of your term, but hopefully it's less than 90 miles.
Yeah, we try to support you guys as much as possible. So if you do see that, your link pass station is 2 hours away, we'll make sure that you guys are covered during that time of travel, as far as expenses. So don't worry about that if you do see that your station is a little further. There was another question about if you have questions after this call. So the email address that you guys have been receiving information from, that was sm dot is it sm dot fs dot rap? Yeah.
fs.fs.rap@usda.gov. Yes.
Yes, and she just dropped it into the chat. So just use that same email address, and that'll be your way of communicating with us outside of these open calls. But yeah, send us the email. We'll get your questions answered. But a lot of their questions are probably answered through this call. So again, thank you guys so much for joining. And or if it wasn't from this call, then you'll see it in that checklist. And the last thing that I'll say is, as you guys are going through this process, just kind of take notes of things that you are, coming across, any challenges that you might face, anything that you see that's really helpful. Because again, we want to continue to make this program better. We want to continue to provide a great experience with onboarding and orientation. So any feedback, we will provide you guys a survey after orientation. So any feedback that you will have to share with us, please do share it then. So again, we try to make this easy because it is a lot, but we do try to make it easy and simple for you as much as possible. So again, just to kind of take those notes and share with us at that survey time. But again, I want to be respectful of your day and your time. You don't have to leave, but I again want to be respectful, and I don't want this to be a long recording because then people may not watch it. So again, thank you so much. Again, I'm Sylvia. We have Vanessa. We have Michaela, Mimi Pryor, and we have Michaela Hall. That's going to be your staff, your RAP staff, and we'll also have some additional people that will be helping us through onboarding as well as orientation. But again, we are so excited to welcome you to RAP, to welcome you to the Forest Service. It's going to be a lot of moving parts, onboarding on the partner side, onboarding on the Forest Service side, but we are here to help you throughout this process. And again, we can't wait to see you in Colorado. Have you guys ever been to Colorado? Are y'all excited? Yeah? Awesome. We are too. Good. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, enjoy the rest of your day. Look forward to all of these emails that we're going to be sending your way. Send us some beautiful, nice headshots so you guys see where they're going. So send us those nice pictures. And yeah, we look forward to continuing to engage with you guys. So thank you so much. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Have a great day.